Begin every video with a smile. All right, look at that. Look at my hair. All right, background. I ain't got no background noise, but I'm gonna play something in the background. Fair use, fair use. I don't know if you do fair use of this. Watching. It's October 29th or 30th, or whichever day it is. Listen. Anybody guess what movie that is in the background?
Headed north or south? North. Now jump in. I'll make sure you're heading the right direction.
Make sure you're heading in the right direction. Good police officer. He's trying to make sure this guy's headed in the right direction. Look, he's just protecting and serving. Where you headed?
Corner to south. You said you were heading north.
You got someplace I can eat around here?
There's a diner about 30 miles up the highway.
30 miles up the highway.
Law against me getting something here?
Yeah.
Me.
Why are you pushing me?
What did you say?
So why are you pushing me? I haven't done anything to you.
First of all, you don't ask the questions around here.
First of all, you don't ask the questions.
We don't want
Is that
guys like you in this town.
we don't want guys like you in this town. And anybody hadn't figured out that movie, then you would have to be a Stallone. One of his first movies around about fan, Rambo, First Blood. I like to watch it when the weather turns cold, when it's cold and rainy. I like to watch it then because that's the mood of the weather in the background. And just I always try to watch that movie like once a year. It's my pilgrimage to the Rambo. All right. And it's like 2 minutes and 15 seconds into this video. And what I was going to literally talk about is, I said in the last video, I need to really talk about an incident that happened when I went to Gunner last year. And I was saying that Austin Holloman kind of talked about the scenario. O'Shea Duke Jackson talked about it too. And there's a lot of other people. But I was looking at this lady who had I think it was 4 kids, who was building a house in Ghana, and she was talking about the ugly truth about, Ghana and stuff. And you have to be very careful. And then what I mean by this is, you are a guest on other people's land, other people's country. I don't care about the money you come in with. You are a guest. You are not native of that area. And y'all understand this in America when we talk about cities. Like, you American, and you can go to any city you want to in America. You can live in any city you want to in America. But if you from Memphis and you go to, say, Detroit, acting like Memphis, you better back it up on a daily basis. Because sooner or later, people are going to stop tolerating that nonsense. And they're going to feel the disrespect. You can go to Detroit. You can live in Detroit. Or you can move from Detroit and go to Atlanta. And you can go there and take over. I think that's what happened to the 2 brothers who went down to the Atlanta. I forgot their name. It was the BMI gang or something like that. I mean, I remember the series, them talking about it. Just West Coast, East Coast. We found out that the guy who's been talking about he killed Tupac or been involved in Tupac killings finally got arrested. Tupac from, I guess, the East Coast went to the West Coast, got involved in stuff that he shouldn't have got involved. And that was just did that video on Tupac. Richie Mack zoomed to Thailand. He was saying, hey, everybody knew what happened to Tupac because Tupac came out and got involved in stuff that he just wasn't ready for. He didn't think was real. And it cost him, his deception. So we understand that when we call it the city, state to state, especially with cities. And that's all America is. When we say the United States of America, we're really talking about 50 countries. And it's the same thing with Africa. One of my friends, I don't know if they're being negative or they just think they're showing information. They always say, well, people showed a picture of, what's his name, Most Def. He's leaving Africa. And I'm like, okay, what's the reason? You know, he wants you to watch the video. And I'm like, and I'm just not going to watch it. You didn't give me no synopsis or anything why he's leaving. They just see something. They just think he's in, but they're just scared because they haven't went anywhere in life. You know, they haven't traveled. And this just shows you that I got to be careful with the wording because my so-called friends and family, they watch these videos somehow. I don't know, it's a miracle. But, you know, don't want to call them an idiot, but Africa is a continent, a landmass. It is not a country. To my knowledge, I think it's 50 plus countries on that continent, on that landmass, you know. You know. So you got to think about, and the size of it, because of the map distortion that we've been dealing with, and you find this more and more truth out, that Africa is 3 times the size of the North America. And I think we're talking about United States, I mean, so I don't want to put in Canada with this, but it's 3 times the size of North America, which is, I'm talking about, America, not North America, because I think North America is going to take in Canada also, but it's 3 times the size of America. And if anybody understands that, that is humongous. That you can fit the European nations like North America, probably South America, and a little bit of Asia into Africa and have a little room left over with Madagascar. I mean, Africa is huge. So when you're talking about they're leaving Africa, like what country? You know, because everybody ain't the same. You are not going to get the same treatment in Morocco that you're going to get in South Africa. You're not going to get the same treatment in Botswana as you're going to get in Ethiopia. It's a continent. It's a giant landmass filled with different countries on different levels, economically, different levels of technology, different levels socially or, you know, culturally. So what are you talking about, man? That's the equivalent of saying that Most Def is leaving New York and he's going to California. It's like, oh, man, I guess he got tired of New York, you know? He's rich. He can do what he want to do. But another thing is people are so conditioned in the so-called first world. We go America and European nations and stuff like that. And Japan, even Japan. Let's don't take Japan out of this. Japan passport gets you damn near anywhere. But in these so-called first world countries, people are like, well, you know, they're not accustomed to the level of corruption because don't get it twisted. America's corrupt. There's corruption over here. You see it. Everybody knows it. Look at our politicians, man. We talk about the politicians like crazy. They're scared so bad right now that Trump's going to get back in office. They're losing their minds. You know, they're cutting deals ridiculously. I mean, politics, but it's on a different economic level. And it's a different form of corruption that you would see in other countries, but everything's the same. Like I said, money being the thing, everything is people are the same almost everywhere. You know, you got different cultures, different religious beliefs and stuff, but it's really kind of the same stuff. You know, how people treat you and stuff like that. And it's always a hustle when you're coming from a place that economically they believe you are superior, you know, and I've talked about this in other video. You know, America's poor is considered decent in other countries, you know. Over here, you know what I'm saying, minimum wage is struggling when you're living here, but the money, the things you're able to get and stuff like that, over there is just different because it's how the economic system's set up, how it's all set up, how it's all controlled. So that being said, I had an incident when I went to Ghana last year. And it was the ending of the so-called pandemic, which they say, my doctor said, we ain't out of the pandemic. These cases are still popping up. And what's his name? Alex Jones broke it and said September and October, we're supposed to be back to mandates and stuff like that. So, but this was, May of last year, 2022. And I was, I went through the protocols that they asked. If you didn't get a shot, you got to go through certain protocols, take tests before you go over there. You had a certain time period, less than, I think, 24 or 48 hours to take it. Have that documentation uploaded, your passport, your visa and stuff like that, and your normal stuff. And then you also had to pay, it was like $150 to take the test before you get off the plane. You know what I'm saying? And as to put it like this, I didn't get a chance to take that test. I got isolated, separated, and a whole scenario went into, they have, shots there, and you're supposed to take their stuff. So we're not even going to go any further into that situation. But anybody who understands, people want your money, they want your economics, how that situation went. Even me trying to get the money back from me not even getting a chance to take that test and putting in a claim for it, I never heard anything back from them. Like, F you, we got that money, we're good. And you got to understand how that money is. At this point in time, $1 there is $10, maybe $11. At the time I went there, $1 there was like $5.50, $6 of their money. So now it's $10, $11, $12. I've seen it as high as $14 of theirs, compared to the American dollar and the Ghana CD. So you got to think about it. If a person is making 300 American dollars a month, and that's their pay, that's their salary for the month, and it equates to 3,000 of their dollars, and they're able to basically buy the same comfortable level. It's all balanced. Of course, people have excess amount of stuff is going to do. That's everywhere, but it's all kind of relative to a degree. And they get a chance to get their salary from you. Man, come on. I mean, that's just like the TSA here. Look, if they close you off in a room and you offer them a year's salary, man, they're going to have a hard time saying no. Simple as that, especially if you catch them alone in a situation and you got cash. And, not to say I know anybody who's done that, but I'm just being reasonable with thought. So, you just think about it. Rich people, private jet. Man meets a woman online. She's from Ukraine, and I believe that Ukrainians can get over here pretty easy to a degree. But he meets this beautiful woman young beautiful woman that he meets in Ukraine. He's a multi-billionaire, and he flies over there and picks her up, and he brings her back. And as he's getting off the plane, the TSA agent there gets a little bit like, "Hey, who is that? Who's that person you're trying to hide?" And I promise you, if you pull that person to the side and offer that person a substantial amount of money to turn their head for 5 minutes, depends on the ethics, morals, and principle of that person. Most of them are going to turn their heads. They're going to look the other way, or they may even be trying to scam in the first place. It's relative. It's all relative. It's all relative how these scenarios are, how these situations are. So, like I said, she was talking about the Lady China. Also, again, they were talking about the experience they had. You have to be careful about how you complain about another country, especially if a country you want to visit and go back to or have dealings with or financial futures with. You have to be careful, how you talk about them. You going off and stuff, that's your one-way ticket out of there and never come back. Would I say the experience I had was totally negative experience? I'll never go back. No. Not when you understand the relative terms of the hustle in life. People hustling for an extra dollar and stuff. I remember that one of the man, these ain't even valets outside the airport. It's just, man, it's like a madhouse out there at the exit point of that airport. And dude wanted to carry my, now think about it, I'm big as hell. I can obviously carry my own bags and they roll. He wanted to carry my bags to the car for $5, $10, $20. American. I mean, just remember, at that time, $1 equals almost six of their dollars. So if I gave him a 20, that's like giving him $120. You see what I'm saying? And I had studied a little to understand the kind of the conversion of the money is because I remember the haircut I got from Step City. So hopefully I get a chance to go back there. I wanted to tip the guy and I tipped him a 20. It's a 20 to me because what he did and, how I looked for the wedding and how he groomed me up. Dude, that would have been like $120 in America. So I gave him a 20, which is like 120 of their dollars at the time, as a tip. And her uncle still gave him, the regular pay of it. I just wanted to tip him more because I've never had that kind of service before. But it's all relative, It's like if you're well-to-do and anywhere you want to travel, it's relative to how much you're going to spend for the resources and the time and the experience and stuff. And like I say, in America, the corruption is just more controlled. Let's put it like that. It's more controlled. Prime example, movie I'm watching, Rambo. I mean, come on. In this day and age, first cell phones and hidden microphones, sheriff get away with doing this. His ass is grass. But this is Rambo and Brian Dennehy. If you know those characters, you know what they look like and stuff. And this dude is a jerk. Now, did Rambo kind of, kind of quiet and kind of snub him off the wrong way, maybe not look the part and stuff? Man, it's still in a free country. He ain't doing no crime, but dude didn't want him there. If he was in a three-piece suit and looking good and dressed and clean, dude wouldn't even pay attention. He just say hello to him. He say hello back. Dude could have been a serial killer. He could have been going in there wiping the place out. It's all prevalent of the mind of the looks and stuff. So, that's kind of the story. I can't go into details of that story because it's too much. It's too much to talk about. And I'm still going back there, and I one day want to live there. So, you just got to be careful. The scam is always prevalent. One of the two best people I've ever thanked in my life, and I listened to how I'm going to say this, the two people I thank in my life to really have shown me the level of how the scam works. And I've known them all my life. It's one, my dad, Reverend Dandridge, and my brother he wanted to be the next Reverend Dandridge. Talking about he going to seminary schools. Like, man, if there was a God, that school would be on fire. Boy, all them demons in there. But it's a scam, man. And that's why I was talking about that narcissist video. See, I don't care talking about his ass. Because I talk about his ass to everybody. You know what I'm saying? He introduced me to some female that we went to school with back in the day. It's like 20, 30 years ago. And he's supposed to be talking to her. And I'm thinking, man, I remember when he got me on the phone and said, man, you must really want to like not know this girl or her not know you or something. Because you don't put me on the phone with people, because I'm going to say whatever. And I kind of control myself because I was thinking in my mind, these jokers might deserve each other. Because she was talking about how Jesus and God has, did all this and, pray every day and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, well, if your God is real, your God should be sending you like a red flag. I mean, he should be sending you a personal message saying, hey, this dude got multiple kids by multiple different women, don't pay his bills, ain't consistent in anything, ain't stable in nothing. And as soon as he gets you pregnant or as soon as he gets what he wants out of you, whatever that is, he gonna treat you like every other chick that he's known. And, and I'm thinking, I was like, look, man, I don't really need to talk to him that much, and I don't need to talk to her. Look, maybe they built for each other. And it just tells me to watch out for her too. I'm thinking different, man. Things have to change, and the change is me. The change is me. From working out to eating right to changing, man. It's a hustle. It's a fight. It's a true hustle to fight and change to make it happen. So I don't have time anymore to really focus on other people and other people's realities, other people's craziness. I got to focus on myself. I have one obligation, and that's to my wife. That's the things I got to accomplish is between me and her, and the family and the things we're building, we're making happen. So, other than that, man, this has been a long video. That's a long time to upload this. Look, I'm gonna leave you with peace, health, and wealth. Most people will never get to this far part into this video. I'm gonna leave you with a smile. So tell the secrets at the end. Until next time.